Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink is by Diamine, here in the 30 milliliter bottle. Sapphire Blue. And the two pens that were used were this JinHao 616 with an extra fine nib that you can tell because my camera's being a butt face. There we go. And a JinHao X750 with just, you know, standard medium nib. Now, if we check out the chromatography, and we'll also see it in this comparison in a second. Oh god, it's doing the neon thing again. Anyways, there's a lot of purple in here. It's mostly purple, and then it goes into this actually really nice medium solid blue, and then this very bright light blue up at the top. Granted, it's not iridescent like it is on the camera, but yep. Now, Sapphire Blue here, as you can tell, it's still pretty purpley compared to some of these other blues. Sargasso Sea has a lot of red sheen, which makes it lean towards purple. Bilberry is essentially a purple, and Majestic Blue also sheens red quite significantly, which makes it purpley. But there's definitely like a violet-y thing going on, and we'll see that in the tests. Speaking of tests, top down in density, Clairefontaine, 90 grams per square meter. Now, on the three fancier papers, I used the JinHao. So, as you can see, it's blue. Like, if you weren't thinking, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's blue. If you kind of stop and stare at it a bit, you realize it definitely hints at purple. 17 seconds to dry. Nice little bit of shading. No bleed feather spread. There's some echo. It is a fairly dark-ish medium blue with purpliness to it. But no sheen. Water test isn't too bad, which, you know, we kind of see in the chromatography. What remains is mostly going to be purple, which I feel like we see here. That is a little more straight purple than this. It's not perfect. It is a little patchy, a little feathery, a little explodey. Next is Rhodia, 80 grams per square meter. 16 seconds to dry. Again, we see a decent degree of shading. And again, there's sort of this sneaky purpliness. Here, the flow started to feel just a little bit wet. I'd call it maybe a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, no bleed feather spread. Some echo potential because, again, this is a fairly dark medium blue ink. And in this water test, I feel like we can definitely see that it's more purple than blue. It did dye the page a bit. It's not perfect. There's some patchy, feathery spots, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse. Next is Tomoe River Paper, where I feel like we definitely start to get a little bit more of that lavender thing going on. 20 seconds to dry. And I hope I'm going to be able to get this on camera, assuming my camera decides to play well today. Get a little bit of red sheen in that halo. I don't know if it's going to let me get it on camera, but it's also in here and there in the words, especially like around the, like in a halo around the dots of the eyes. But yeah, there's definitely some purpliness here. No bleed feather spread. This, I would watch out for the echo potential. It is always a personal preference thing, but here, you know, because the paper is so thin. Water test is definitely not awful. Tomoe River loves to let ink just slide away when you add water. But that's, it's not bad. It's fairly clear. It didn't explode, didn't feather. Dyed the paper just like a teeny bit, but yeah. Now, from here on, I used the JinHao 616 with the really fine nib, which even on this 20-pound copier paper really didn't do it many favors. It, I mean, you'll see just how much feathering and spread Yeah, I mean, this is an extra fine nib, but it doesn't look like an extra fine on here. Yeah, I thought this was interesting. Here we really see that blue, like we saw in the chromatography, sort of spiking off of the water tests. Yeah, again, what's at the middle is much more purple than what's up here, but pretty clear, pretty dark, except for the light blue explodey bits at the edges. Could have been a lot worse, but as you can see, there is some bleed. It's like maybe about 100 little dots, and the echo is pretty bad, especially for an extra fine nib. So next is Mead Notebook Paper, where it took 2.5 seconds to dry. And I said there's bleed in spots. Like it really is dots here and there. And it could have been a lot worse, but it still could have been a heck of a lot better because this is an extra fine nib. But the spread from it makes it look like it's just sort of more of a standard fine. I feel like the color got kind of flattened a little bit. So, water test, not awful. I feel like the paper had a much more violent reaction than the ink. Again, we see a little bit of that blue spiking off, but what's at the center is pretty clear, pretty dark. It did feather a bit, did explode a little bit. And lastly is Moleskine Notebook Paper, where I feel like this Moleskine paper actually performs more like your standard Moleskine notebook paper in the fact that it was terrible. Like you see, there's a lot of feathering, a lot of exploding. It's very ill-behaved, and this is, I said, abysmal, especially for what is essentially an extra fine nib. Again, I feel like the color was very dull, and if you look at this water test, it's really feathery, it's really explodey. If you had been writing in a broader nib, this probably would have been, well, I mean, it would have been more of a mess in general, but after the water test, it would have been pretty difficult to read. And that is a lot of bleed for an extra fine nib. So, there you go. There's Diamine Sapphire Blue, which I feel like is definitely flirting with purple. It's heavily flirting with purple, I dare say. It's not too bad in some situations, and it's really not great in others. It has a little bit of water resistance, not a lot. I sort of don't know what to make of this. Leave a comment down below of your own experiences and opinions. I'd definitely love to hear them. So for your consideration from the Triple N Network, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching. Bye.